What's going on, everybody? It's Wednesday night, and here we are at Squadron Live. I appreciate you being here tonight. It's been a great week. I hope that it's been a great week for you. We've got a lot of stuff going on, as I always seem to say, but this time I am very happy to say that we're not having near as bad of shipping and logistics problems. Usually I'm complaining about customs and things being delayed, but our container from the other place down below, as we've been calling it, has finally been released and picked up. We'll have it tomorrow, and some of the other things that were being held along with it finally got cleared up, like this Dora Wings Beaver kit, for example. We've been waiting on these. We should have had these months ago. They're finally here. Pre-orders will be shipping out tomorrow, along with many other things that we have been waiting on for months and months. And I am very happy to say that we'll finally be able to start shipping those things out tomorrow and Friday, and into next week. There's a lot of it. Having something held for months can really build up and back up the pre-orders. But it's a good thing. It's on the way, and we're very excited about that. And on top of that, all of the other things that we've been buying recently, we've kind of just gotten used to things taking forever. But for the first time in a long time, things are actually a little bit ahead of schedule. We've got all sorts of shipments coming in over the next couple of weeks, which is a really good thing. It'll be here just in time for the IPMS National Convention. I believe, including the container tomorrow, we've got 3 containers that are going to be here over the next couple of weeks. And on top of that, several less than container shipments, we'll call it, anywhere from a couple pallets to half a semi-truck. So all sorts of stuff coming in. Very, very good news. Just here's one of my favorite things that finally is here. And it's not near as big and elaborate as our last one, but I think I've already forewarned you guys about that. But our next catalog is finally done. This is not near as long. It's not 500 pages. It is 80 pages. Got a nice Peter artwork on the inside cover. Another one on the back cover. A little write-up. Just give the guys that don't have access to the internet and our website, give them an update. A lot of those guys might not even know that we moved, so we gave them a little idea of why and where we are now. You move into our paint chart, and then after that, you've got, I don't know, 70, however many more pages that is, 77 or so pages of just model kits. And this time, for you guys that like shopping by hand rather than the website, we actually put prices in this time. I know that was one of the big deals on the last catalog, not having prices, and you can probably imagine why printing a price is just something we had to decide and make our mind up that we were going to do. Every page, prices and availability, subject to change without notice. I mean, these prices these days change so often, but everything in here is models that, at least at the time we laid this out a few weeks ago, we had tons of them in stock. What they're priced at now, they're going to stay that price until we sell out and have to buy them again. You know, price may change next time we bring them in, but for now, this will be a good way for you guys that don't like using the website to take a look at some stuff. So we've got a handful of these that are going to the Nationals with us. And then we told the printer to rush some to us so we'd have them for the Nationals. And then they're in the process of printing the rest of them, the big batch. And we don't have tons of these. We're sending them out for free to everybody who had pre-ordered and prepaid for one of the other catalogs that we were the big one. We have, like I said, we have since then refunded everybody's payment for those. But if you were on that list, you're getting one of these for free. After we go through that, we'll see how many are left, and I'll open them up for to the public. Everybody will have access to one if there are any left. Anybody in this chat room, I don't want to leave you guys out, so shoot me an email if you want one of these, and I'll make sure to get you on that list. We got coming into nationals, we've been talking about all sorts of cool stuff that we've been doing, from the t-shirts. We finally got our hats back in. We've got these drink koozies, kind of cool. And of course, everything we do is always full of Peter's artwork. Peter is, speaking of Peter, he's got he's got some new projects that he's working on for us, and we're very excited about those. We're hoping to show you all about those later. This, I didn't have this here at my house last week to show you, but I showed you guys the, if you can see it right there, that is our P47, the Razorback, our national convention exclusive that we're going to have. And I haven't shown you yet, but here is the ICM exclusive, B26. And this has 10 different decal options in the box. You only get one aircraft, but you can build it one of 10 different ways. And the cool thing about this is the decal sheet is massive. Look how big this thing is. Very, very large decal sheet. So you got, like I said, enough of the generic stuff to build one aircraft, and then you've got 10 different nose art and individual plane markings. It turned out really nice. And one of the things that's very neat to us, just like in the P47, I showed you that, but in the ICM instructions, of course, ICM, as you know, they also manufacture their own paint. So you get ICM's recommendations for their paint colors. But for the first time ever, the Squadron colors paints are also listed in the ICM catalog or ICM instructions. So this is neat. And in the instructions, you get color callouts, decal placement guides for 3 of the aircraft, which are the 3 aircraft featured on the front of the box. The rest of the aircraft, the other 7, you will have paint guides for those also, but they're going to be on our squadroncolors.com website. You'll see there's a QR code in the instructions and a little description of that. So you can get over there, and all these color guides are also laid out by Peter. So he did a fantastic job doing that, and we really appreciate him working with us on that. So we've got just all sorts of stuff coming up. I know that Jeff has been working on a lot of the prototypes for the 3D stuff, and a lot of that stuff, those files have started making their way back down here to us for us to run production on. We've got some really cool stuff in the 35th scale track department that I won't talk about tonight, but in 2 weeks, we should be able to show you that. Some of you guys, if you've been by the shop recently, you've probably seen some of what I'm talking about. We've got all sorts of just stuff. I'll tell you one of the things. Some of you guys have been asking about the Birds of War 3D stuff. It's done, or some of them are done. This is the which one is this? Shoo Shoo Baby, I believe. And this is 1/16th scale. So we've got them in 1/16th scale. We've got them in 25th scale or 24th scale, like you guys have known about. A lot of that stuff. And this is one that you might not have been expecting. And honestly, it's if you don't know what this is, you're going to scratch your head and wonder what in the world. But many years ago, Squadron Signal Publications primarily has always done aircraft books and tanks and ships and all this kind of stuff, military books. But they did one book back in the 80s that was completely outside of their wheelhouse called Down in the Dungeon. And this was a book that Don Greer did the artwork for. A couple guys did the artwork, but Don Greer did a lot of it. This is one of the paintings inside the book that Don Greer did. It's just some lizard creature. And the purpose of this book they did, this is back in the day when Dungeons and Dragons was really, really big and popular, and they were trying to cash in on that market a little bit. So the book has nothing to do with Dungeons and Dragons other than it's that same type of fantasy type artwork that guys that were into that were into. So anyway, what we're going to do is that picture I just showed you here is a 3D figure based on Don Greer's painting. And this, I don't really know the Dungeons and Dragons game, but from what I'm told, this is the size that those are made. So all of those Don Greer paintings, we've got figures of those. So if you were a fan of that book, you'll be able to bring that book out and do something a little bit different. So just all sorts of cool stuff that we've been working on. And Jeff and I and Jared and Russ, when he's on the show, we've been talking so long about all these things that we're doing. And it just seems like all we do is talk about what we're going to do and nothing ever gets done. Well, I'm happy to say that some of the projects are finally finishing. There's a few of them that we're trying to keep secret until the show, but very excited. I'm going to bring Jeff in here now to see he's back here. How are you, buddy?
Magical elf living in a hollow tree producing mystical products.
There you go. Well, things are finally just everything's going good right now. Customs is not picking on us anymore. We got a lot of stuff coming in. All the things that you've been prototyping, we're finally putting them into production down here. We got, I think, 3 weeks to the show. I mean, there's no telling how many we're going to get, but it's going to be something more than we've got today. And I'm excited about it.
I am basically like in crunch mode. I sent my lovely wife to the East Coast to visit her family for 2 weeks. And so it's just me and the dogs and the printers. And,
good.
We have just been, we've been burning the candle at both ends here. But
well, I mean, any of you guys that know how 3D printers work, or at least the ones we use, I assume all of them, but there's so many ones. The ones we use, when you get your file done, you stick it on a USB stick and you stick it in the front or the side of the printer. Well, I've been talking about all these prototypes that are done, and Jeff gets them ready and sends them down here for production. I mean, I got USB sticks falling off of my desk now. They're everywhere. So it's just, there's all sorts of stuff coming in, and it's really great. The guys at the warehouse are excited to see, some of these guys, we've been talking about all this stuff we're going to make ever since we hired them, and they've been working there. I'm pretty sure they might not even believe us by now, but now they're starting to see some of this come in with the Squadron branding on it, and it's really neat. So things are looking up. We're excited about the show. Yeah, you see, there it is, guys. He gets the files ready and sends them down here for us to make. So
yeah, and I don't know. At last count, there's something like 80 different USB drives in there that all have files on them.
Oh yeah. Well, it's really neat. One of the other things, if you're going to the Nationals, we've already told you about the P-47. We've told you about the B-26. We've told you about all of our other little Squadron merchandise, just little things that we enjoy there that we think are neat. But there's some other exciting things we're going to have too. One of which, and I can't tell you what it is. All I can tell you is that it is an exclusive kit. I think I'm allowed to say the brand. Russ, I can see your little picture. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if I'm allowed to say who the brand is. Okay, I'm not allowed to say who the brand is. It is a brand that you know, and it is a kit that you're going to love, and we are going to be the only ones at the show, and to my understanding, the only ones in the world at the time of the show that have this kit available. I think they're only going to be like $20, $25 maybe, somewhere in that ballpark. So it's not everybody can come buy one. So come by.
So
I don't
trying to create a stampede.
Yeah, I'm trying to create a stampede. Exactly. So, 1:00 Wednesday, we're going to have our exclusive kits. We're going to have this other company that you guys all really love. We're going to have their exclusive kit. It's going to be neat. And we are sworn to secrecy until 1:00 on Wednesday. Like, from what I understand, like, even when we're setting up, I have to I can't even pull them out of the box yet. If I have a display that goes on the table, I got to put a sheet over it. They literally don't want anybody to know about this, because from what I understand, they're not going to announce it until the show starts, like worldwide. It's kind of neat. I'm very happy that they picked us to work with on this. It's going to be cool. So, I don't know. It'll be neat. I like it.
Yep. Say no more. Say no more. Say
I'm
no more.
not saying anymore, but I am going to say hello to some guys. Joseph, how are you tonight? And Danny, yeah, you're right. We're going to look at some fantastic models tonight. We've got, I forget how many it is. We've got several slides tonight. It's very interesting. Every month, the models are always great, but what I particularly noticed this evening as I was setting it up is the quality of the photography is improving, which, you say, well, why does that matter? Well, it matters because we're in a digital format here, and the only way that we're enjoying each other's models is through photography. So the better the picture, the better we can enjoy it. So, but it's just neat. You guys keep taking better and better pictures each month. So keep it up.
Here's a little snippet, little Wayback Machine. For those of you who don't know, I was an editor at Fine Scale Modeler magazine in the early 2000s, and one of the very best models that I have ever seen in my life in terms of craftsmanship, quality of the build, was submitted to us as a feature story. And the guy had it on his workbench and no background, and he took Polaroid pictures. You old timers will know what Polaroids are. He had beer cans in the background and in his ashtray with all of his cigarette butts hanging out of it. And that was all in the photo. An absolutely world-class, exquisite model. And we couldn't run it.
Wow. Well, it's just
so-
like, it's just like music, you can have like the best song in the world, but if it sounds like that and you can't hear it, you can't enjoy it. TV's the same thing. If
Right.
it's not coming through, whatever the case is. And, but anyway, point is the pictures are continuing to get better and better. And it's really neat. So,
and I did promise a photography guide. And after the craziness of the Nationals,
there's all sorts of stuff we can do.
I'll put that together. Contrary to popular belief, I mean, most of your new Android phones, look at the cameras on the back of this thing. I mean, there's 5 different lenses there or whatever the case may be. Most of the cameras that we have on our cell phones are as good as some of the DSLRs that I was using back in the old fine scale days. But honestly, with a little bit of lighting and a piece of poster board, $1.49 at the art store, you can take studio quality photography.
Oh yeah. Well, heck, we use a huge sheet at the warehouse.
Yeah.
Drape a sheet on the back, and when you come up, don't let it fall and then come over. Curve it.
Yeah, that's called a sweep.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of little things, but
in the photography world, it's called a sweep. And
a sweep. Well, it makes a big difference, it's nice. So, we got next up, we got Dave, and Dave is bringing up he says, sign me up for the new hobby mat. So I posted something on our Facebook group, our private group. If you guys aren't a member of that, go sign up and join the Squadron Modelers group. But I posted something a couple of days ago that got more attention than anything else lately, so I want to bring it up real quick. This is a prototype. This is not a final. This is just a, hey guys, what do you think? And we, years ago, well, not too terribly long ago, but Squadron Tools, you guys probably know our tool line. We have been slowly but surely trying to get the tool line back up and, hopefully some semblance of its former glory. And we've got the cutters and the tweezers and some of these things. Well, the cutting mat is something that they used to do that, they sold quite a few of them. Everybody needs a cutting mat. And I've had this idea for a little while now about bringing them back, but adding some interesting elements to them. Now, this is, like I said, this is just a prototype. I know that other than the inches around the sides and the centimeters up at the top, this is absolutely useless other than it just looks pretty on your desk. Now, some people, like myself, I like my desk looking pretty. Some people might like it to be a little bit more functional. So we've got some ideas. This is just a concept. This is another version of our work in progress. You can see all these little marks over here on the bottom left. These are scale rulers. And there's like practically every scale you can imagine that is a common scale these days, 48 and 72 and 350, all of them, right? So we're thinking, do we do some of this? Do we do one like this that's got them all? Depending on how popular this gets, we might like to do a dedicated aircraft one that's got your aircraft scales, do a ship one with your ship scales, do an armor one with your armor scale. I mean, there's no limit to what we can do. We just wanted to throw this idea out and let you guys see what we're thinking, and give us your there's been a lot of comments, and everybody wants what they want. And we can't make everybody happy. We can't give you, every single option out there, but I do want to hear your ideas, because you never know if your idea is going to be the one that makes us go, oh, wow, that's cool.
Didn't think of that.
Yeah, so go over on the Facebook group and join in on the conversation on these cutting mats. Just give us your thoughts. Let us know, what do you use a cutting mat for, and we'll take all that into consideration. This is an after Nationals project, but considering we're wrapping up most of the Nationals projects, we wanted to go ahead and get the wheels turning on some of the next stuff. So
we are.
Let me say it this way, Jeff. We're done saying, let's do this too.
Yeah. Now it's follow through time.
Yeah. Now it's finish up what we've committed to.
Yep.
Oh, man. Let's see. We got Wayne over at Yellow Wings Decals with us tonight. And looks like you're going to be at the show. We will absolutely stop by and say hello, Wayne. Jeff and I will be there. Russ will be there. Jared will be there. So we'll all come by and say hello. And if you guys don't know, we have Yellow Wings decals in stock at squadron.com now.
And here's something else.
All right. Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Way back in the day, and Wayne will remember because he was part of it, I was getting calls to do the Yellow Wings paint colors. So a little light bulb, and it wasn't very bright, but it was a little light bulb nevertheless, went off in my head and said, I should probably talk to the guy who's producing the decals for this era. So I spoke to Wayne at a Nationals. Good grief, I don't even remember where it was. It may have been San Marcos. It may have been Omaha. I don't remember. But anyway, Wayne was nice enough to send me the Pantone values for the inks that he uses on his decals for the Yellow Wing series. And then we went and matched Scale Colors paint to his decals. So if you're using Yellow Wings decals in conjunction with Scale Colors paint,
it's going to be a match.
They match.
There you go. Good deal.
Thank you, Wayne, for that.
Absolutely.
And we need to talk about him carrying the paint line as well.
Well, we'll just get him here on the show one Wednesday night.
There we go. We'll just talk about Yellow Wings.
I want to get back to having our manufacturers come on the show. We did that for a little while a year ago, but we've just been busy. But we'll get him on here. That'll be great. Let's see. Randy's working on some more book reviews. It's good to see you. And Ed and Bill, wish you had something completed for the show. Well, that's all right. I'll look forward to seeing what you're finishing up for Nationals. And David's with us tonight. Good to see you.
David.
Jason, good to see you. Working on a presentation for the club meeting in a couple weeks. All right, well, that is an interesting thing. So if you're in the Chattanooga area or close enough to Chattanooga, every third Monday of the month, this month I believe it's the 21st. Yeah, the 21st. We host the local IPMS club at Squadron. The club has their meeting there, and at 4:00, when our warehouse usually closes, we open the warehouse up for everybody. So you can come in, hang out for a couple of hours. The club meeting begins at 6:00. So keep that in mind. This month in particular, I don't know the gentleman's name, but we have a guest coming to give a presentation about Gundam models, Gunpla, and Bandai, all that kind of stuff that is growing in popularity amongst the IPMS groups. And a lot of us, myself included, don't know much about it, but we're interested because the guys, the crowd that build those models, they're very enthusiastic about it. You see these categories growing at your local club. So our club asked one of these guys, actually, we didn't ask, I think he offered and our club accepted to come in and just, what is Gunpla? What are these? These, a lot of us look at them as snap kits, but this past club meeting, one of our club members brought in some of his builds. He built it like any other model kit, painted it the whole night, weathered it the whole 9 yards. It looked fantastic. So, yeah, we're looking forward to that. It'll be interesting. And Jason, will be happy to have you down there, buddy. And I might feel like an idiot here for a second. Working on a presentation. Are you the one that's coming to do the presentation?
That's what it looks like.
I see that. I knew it was somebody from the from north of here. I didn't know if it was the Nashville or the Knoxville. Well, good. If it's you, Jason, let me know, and that'll be great. You didn't mention it the other day when you were down at the shop, so I just didn't even put two and two together. All right, who else we got in here? Derek and Ken, Rex, Mark and Rhonda's here. Wayne, good to see you. Let's see. Oh yeah, and Jason's talking again for the ship guys. They've been there's been a lot of cool live videos on some wrecks this week. I have not watched any of them live. I did see some of the footage though. It's pretty awesome. Oh man. Tom's here. How about we do a meet and greet to say hello? Well, Tom, I tell you, we are usually so busy at the show, I don't have much time to leave the booth, but please come by. We will all be at the Squadron booth, and we'd love to see you and say hello and catch up. Hey, Ed, good to see you tonight. Let's see. Rojala's here. Arnell. Got the whole gang in here tonight, don't we? And Carlos and Rob. TD's in here. Looking forward to the show and tell. Yeah, we'll get that started in just a minute. Rick Bang is here. How are you, buddy? Ken and Ron, howdy, buddy. I got a couple of your kits in this show and tell tonight. Steven's in here, and Jay Banks got some of his kits in there. See Chuck and Bill right up the road. Benton. And David, yeah, he that paint chart that I was showing off last week, everybody's been asking when it's going to go up on the website. Soon. I just trying to get other stuff done. But if you need it sooner than I get it up on the website, shoot me an email. I can email it to you. I emailed it to David this week. Brandon's here. How are you, buddy? And David, you made it in. Good deal. I got your stuff in the show and tell. He wasn't sure he was going to make it tonight. Now we got all sorts of people in here. I'm going to scroll down, and we got to get this show on the road, so to speak.
I got to get back to work. Printers are over there beeping at me.
And before we get this show and tell started, let me say this in case some of you guys, I don't know how long the show and tell is going to go, so in case anybody's got to go before I need to say this, and let me answer this question. I was looking for any other questions that I might need to answer real quick. Rebecca, those Enterprise kits from Flyhawk, they will be here soon, but we only have I don't know, we might not have any, but we only have a handful of them that aren't spoken for yet. If you want one for sure, go in and put a pre-order in on one. They will most likely be gone before we actually get to Nationals, though. They've been selling really well, and I think we're going to be out in the pre-order stage before they get here. So anyway, what I need to tell everybody is we will not be having a show next Wednesday night. Next Wednesday, the 16th, there will be no show. We've just got a lot going on, and I will not be able to be here. So we're going to take a week off. The week after that, we'll be back and see what we can come up with. Hopefully we'll have a lot of new cool stuff to show you guys, but just know that we will not be here next week. And I will probably go ahead and create the show for the following week so that in your YouTube and Facebook live stream, you'll see that the next show is dated the 23rd. Yeah. But just wanted to throw that out before we get this started in case some of you guys got to get out of here before we finish. Oh, well, shall we see who we've got up first here?
No, your sound went a little wonky on me there.
Oh,
There
is
you
it?
go.
Am I back to normal? All right.
Yeah,
So this first one is not a model kit. This is from John Wade. As you guys know, we have been selling and offering the original paintings from Squadron Signal Publications from artists like Don Greer and others. And these particular three are Don Greer. But John, he bought some, and he wasn't really sure what to expect, but he said he was blown away. And the pictures do not do them justice. He had these professionally matted and framed, and he was very happy with how it turned out. And he sent us pictures, and I thought I'd show it to you guys because
that is super cool.
Oh yeah, I love the frame that he picked and the dark matte that he picked. Very, very neat. But he said, and any of you guys that have seen these in person, pictures don't do it justice. The colors, even though these are so old, the colors look like Don just painted them yesterday. It's pretty fantastic. And the cool thing is, if you are interested in what these look like, or perhaps you've been thinking about maybe buying one, we will have a selection of them. I don't know how many, but Lee is sending a certain selection of them to us that we will be displaying in our booth at Nationals. So make sure to check that out. And I warn you ahead of time, once you see them, you will very much so try to convince yourself to buy one, because they look awesome in person. They really do. But again, John's the collection here looks cool. Very glad that he shared those images with us.
The cool part is when you actually see these in person and you recognize them from a book.
Right.
That you've had sitting on your shelf for 15, 20, 30, 40 years. Some of these are, and some of this artwork is from some of the original Squadron Signal publication books that go back 40 years.
Oh yeah.
It's really cool to see, because you've always looked at it as a book cover or the back cover of a book, and there's the original. It's really kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
It's not kind of cool. It is cool.
It is cool. GB stand on these catalogs I was talking about. If you want one, just shoot me an email at info@squadron.com and put in the subject line catalog request, and make sure you got your address in there, and I will add you to the list. Again, the first in line for these are the people that had previously tried to pay for one. I'm pretty confident we're going to have leftovers and plenty to go around. But I throw that out there. But shoot me an email, and we'll see if you can. If you're coming to Nationals, just make sure that you are one of the first ones in our booth, so you can grab one of these. They are free with a purchase at Nationals.
Wednesday at 1:00.
That's right. All right. So next we've got B. Carson, and this is the guy that I love how he always submits his photos to us each month. He does this little group collage thing. It's really neat. So we got 4 of these little picture groupings from him this month. So take a look at this. This is a Galaxy 500. I assume 24th or 25th scale. Neat how he's got the magazines there in the back window.
Yeah, that's wild. I like that shade of blue. That's a pretty shade.
I think every month when he has one of these, I think you always are particularly interested in his colors. I mean, but for good reason.
Oh, I mean, he's got a great eye for color. I mean, if this is a factory color, which I don't think it is, but I mean, this is, I think he's maybe he's a closet color junkie and he doesn't even realize it. So he picks out nice colors, and I give him accolades for that.
Oh yeah. Well, it looks good. Well, let's move on to this slide probably should have been first, but
Tamiya TS50.
Yep. Yeah, 1963. Yeah, main body color TS50, like you said. Yep. TS15 and TS44. Okay, so he made the Hot Rod magazine covers himself. He got the cover images, scaled them down, printed them out.
Yep.
Very neat. Yeah, excellent job
Nice.
on that. I'm on. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna go to this one first. I see what I did now. I did his slides backwards. So this is. Does he say what scale this is?
I want to say they're like 1/8 or
Yeah, I know that
scale, one
these
eighth
engines
scale.
sometimes get big.
One of my club members is a huge Mopar guy, and he's he's got a stack of these things. He loves
Oh,
them.
really?
They build up into really, really nice kits too.
Yeah. Our the lady that keeps our books for us, Sandy, her and her husband are big Mopar. Her husband is Martin. He used to be our next door neighbor.
Hmm.
He, I think he's gotten out of it mostly now, but he used to rebuild these things, and I mean, he was fantastic. He's the one that rebuilt Dad's '59 Buick. I mean, he's just really good. But yeah, the same thing. They just love their Mopars.
1/6 scale.
Oh, yep, there it is. 1/6. Yep. Yeah, and Jeff, Jason's asking about automotive colors, and I'll just say, Jason, just like everything else that we don't have yet, it's all things we would like to do. We're just trying to not put the cart in front of the horse, which Jeff and I both have a bad habit of doing. So
Here's the thing, and I'll come at it from the chemistry side. This formulation of paint really doesn't lend itself to metallics and pearls and things of that nature. There are so many companies out there that are doing absolutely amazing automotive colors that I don't even know if I want to compete in that market, because it would just be an uphill battle. There's so many established companies that are doing spectacular stuff with automotive colors. That's my take on it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I follow orders. I'll go where I'm told. If he wants me to make automotive colors, I'll make automotive colors, but it'll be under duress.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But regardless of what we would like to do, what we can't do, we got our plate full right now. So
Absolutely.
once we get everything to the table, then, next is, metal colors, but, specifically for aircraft and that kind of thing. Once we get all the military side of things and the sci-fi side of things covered, then we'll look at that. All right, moving along. Where'd it go?
You got me.
There it is. Yes, and next for show and tell is Jeff Hearn.
No.
All right, so this is Mike Bishop. He has done a 1/16 scale trumpeter kit, or at least he says it started out as a trumpeter kit. He did a conversion from RTM, turrets, rear hull, engine vents, all of it, and completely converted this thing. So let's check out how this turned out for him.
It's wild when you look at the T-34 design, to think that when it was developed in 1940, that it was cutting edge, state of the art, the ultimate medium tank design of
Right.
the 1940s. And you look at it now and you think, okay, it's just amazing how our perceptions of things change.
Right.
One of the nice things about doing Russian armor is that you really don't have to do a lot of it, a lot of work to it in terms of markings. And, there's so many different, the T-34-76 is, you can do anything. Some of them were covered with markings and patriotic slogans on the turrets and whatnot. And then some just came right out of the factory with no markings and went right into combat.
Okay. Yeah, Mike Bishop's in the room tonight. He says 3D tracks are great, metal pins. So you've done a lot of work to this thing for sure. It looks great.
Great.
Whenever you see a conversion project like this, it's always funny when they say it started out as this kit. Then you look at it, and if you're familiar with that kit, you're like, doesn't look anything like it.
Yeah.
And what I was going to say a minute ago is I knew this was coming, that Mike also did. And, we're sitting here looking at this with no concept of scale here. We know it's 1/16 scale, but what does that really mean? There you go. There's a 16 scale Sherman sitting next to a 35th. I assume that's a 35th scale Sherman sitting next to it on that same table. It's just, so you look back at this, that's a big tank.
Yeah.
Or a big model kit, rather.
In all honesty, just about every tank in 16th scale is big.
Oh yeah, well it's a large scale. All right, let's see. So his Sherman is an M4A3. He built this out of Andy's kit from Tacom. And he has also done a lot of conversion on this from SOL models or Soul models, I think. He did the running gear out of Andy's other kit, his M10. Did tracks, did all sorts of stuff. Ground down the rubber for wear and tear. So let's check out what he's done here.
Again, going back to what I said before, the T-34 was obviously a Russian medium tank, and,
Right.
and this was an American medium tank. And when you look at the design philosophies, they're so radically different,
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, comparing the two, you could almost call the Russian tank plain Jane, and this has got a lot of stuff going on, which is good for modeling. It's just like modern submarines versus World War II submarines.
Yeah.
Modern ones, it's a black tube with a couple things on top, and you can make it look really good, but go back and do one of the World War II ones, there's all sorts of other stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is cool. So you just got all this on the back. This always, to me, really enhances any tank kit when you start adding these, baggage and whatever on there. Mike says he's moved to 16 scale because he can't see 35th anymore.
I'm right there with you.
It's funny how that works. Jeff, you and I are ship guys, and I think all of us ship guys probably started in 700 scale many years ago and then moved to 350 scale, and now everybody's moving to 200 scale, and even bigger scales to some extent are starting to pop up.
We can't see it anymore. I mean, yeah, Glenn just summed it up. 35th scale is getting smaller as I get older.
That's funny. Here's the last look at Mike's Sherman. It's a good look for sure.
Looks like he's got something with a hull in the background there too. You're going to have to elaborate on that for us, Mike, some point. Looks like a dark gray hull there in the background.
Oh, up in the top right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe that's something we're going to see on a future show and tell. Awesome. Well, good deal. Let's see who we've got next. James Alsop is up next. A couple of pictures here of his 35th scale Model T fire truck, which is an ICM model. And he's painted this with Testors spray cans, Tamiya, and Model Master paints. So no decals included for the helmets or any of that stuff. So that's why.
It's been great to see ICM and Mini are doing a lot of these non-military, dare I say, esoteric subjects.
Right.
Fire trucks and tow trucks and, civilian cargo trucks. It's really cool seeing a lot of these non-military kits coming out from.
Well, you might like your military stuff, but depending on what era of military stuff that you like, there's other stuff that existed in that time that wasn't part of the military. And a lot of times you'll see these kind of things being utilized in dioramas and whatnot. You mentioned Mini Art. I mean, they've got so many civilian accessories, street stuff, and
streetcars and buses
well,
and
the one that made me laugh was when they did the what was it, the cheese vendor. It's just like a guy that sells big blocks of cheese on the street, and the orchestra, all these things, and you see a lot of people utilizing those in very interesting ways. But
well, I remember when Airfix came out with their double-decker bus, the iconic London double-decker bus, and who would have ever thought in a million years that you'd see it, and there it is.
Well, I was not supposed to go to this slide next. This was supposed to be slide 6, but poof, there it is. So I guess we're staying here. All right, so this is from Anya's workshop, and she sent us, she said most of these are work in progress. You can see that this figure does not have a hand, but she's kind of working on faces and heads right now, so we'll take a look. As you can see there, Jeff, she is a much better figure painter than I am. And
well, I saw her work at Wonderfest, and just amazingly talented.
Oh yeah,
amazing.
Well, the cool thing is she is not these right here, but some of these that we'll see in a minute with the well, I'll say regular skin colors. These are black and white tones, which is very cool. But she is testing out our paint now, and she, of course, we had Randy's 6 colors that he picked out. She asked if she could pick out some colors, so she did, and we got those worked up. So all total, we've actually got 24 colors in our full skin tone set, and it's pretty neat to see what these guys can do. Now, this looks great. The other one looks great, but wait till you see this next one.
That looks real.
Yeah, and that's done just. I can't make my airbrush do that with our paint, but apparently she has no problem with it.
I formulated the stuff and I can't make it do that.
You look at these things, it's like you said, it looks like a person staring at you.
I've said that on, every time I get the opportunity, that it amazes me what people are capable of doing with the paint that I created, and now that we are kind of mass producing, just the, I'm living vicariously through our customers, because they're doing things that I'm just not talented enough to do, but it's good to know that the paint is capable of doing it.
Well, every month when we do this show and tell, I'm reminded by many of our customers and friends here that everybody else is more talented than I am. Yeah, here you go. That's the picture that I really just looks like a real person.
Yeah, the control and the control of the tonality and the skin tones are just absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah. Well, so that's her work in progress, and then we've got one of hers that's actually finished. This is a good old Roberto sculpt, which I always like to see. This is from Garage Kits USA, is what that JKUS stands for. Another one of those Wonderfest companies that makes really nice stuff, and this is one of the kits that he makes that she painted.
Yeah.
I think that he did a whole series of kits like this that Roberto sculpted that were based on, like they had, the different seasons, and I don't know. I don't know exactly what it was, but there was like 5 or 6 of these things. But yeah, there you go. Well, Anya, thank you for sending those. Looking forward to seeing what else you've got for us later on. But for now, we've got Jay Banks Haley up next, and he has done something that he says he has never done before. He says he has kit bashed. And you look here, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... looks like 5 different kits that he stole parts out of, plus a lot of evergreen, and he says it was so much fun making this Mad Max vehicle. So take a look at this. I've not really done a lot of kit bashing, Jeff. I actually can't say for sure if I've done much of any. Ever been anything you've tried? This is Jay Banks's first time trying it.
I've never I've never. I mean, I've done more scratch building than I care to admit, but
Right.
there have only been a couple of projects. I did one sci-fi project a few years ago where I didn't use. I only used what the sci-fi modelers call greeblies, like
Okay.
leftover parts and things like that.
Yeah.
And everything that I did for this project used stuff that you would throw away, household items. So I was using paint cap tops and I made like a sci-fi post-apocalyptic outpost. It
Okay.
basically looked like an offshore oil rig. And I just used whatever parts from ballpoint pens and just whatever junk I could find laying around the house.
Okay.
I'll bring
Well,
it to nationals. How's that?
all right. There you go. Well, Jay Banks, if you are in the chat, I got a question for you. So I know that the Mad Max series and all that. I'm not as familiar with perhaps some of you guys, so I might be eating crow here. But is this based off of a vehicle from that series, or is it something that did you have a picture to go off, or is this something that you completely made up perhaps as you went along? Were you just grabbing parts and seeing what fits where? I mean, it's very cool and interesting. I'm just curious if you had any reference to go off of, and again, if this is like the main car in the movie, I'll feel pretty dumb. But
you've never watched any of the Mad Max movies?
yes, but not enough to recognize this. Do you recognize it? Do I need to move on to the next guy and shut up?
You know what? It's been so long ago since
Okay.
I've seen the movies. But it looks like it would fit right
Oh,
into
it looks like it'll fit right in. I'm just
yeah.
curious if it is a specific vehicle or if he just kit bashed something that would fit into that universe.
I think it would.
It's neat. It's got tank tracks and car body, and
I love the seats in the very back, like where the trunk
Yeah.
would be.
well, they look like. Did he say? No, he didn't. You know what it looks like? It looks like a couple of surfboards.
I think they're just bucket seats, but
Yeah, but I mean, the top
Yeah.
of them being pointy and the blue, it just looks like something from the beach. I don't know. All right. Well, I don't know if he's in the chat tonight, so I'm sure he'll shoot me an email about it later and answer it. So here's Byron Jones, and this is the only picture he sent, or at least the only picture I saw. If you sent more pictures of this that I did not get, please resubmit them for next month's show. But anyway, this is his 200 scale Yorktown carrier, which is it's an I Love kit, I believe. It's either Trumpet or I Love kit. They're both from the same factory, and I forget sometimes which ones are branded as which. I think it was originally released as a Merit International kit, but they rebranded all that into the I Love kit brand, or I Heart kit, as I keep hearing some people refer to it as. But this is a big old kit, man. They do Yorktown and Hornet and Enterprise in this scale, and they're just big, very, very cool models to look at.
I think I have this kit, and I've been waiting for them to do like a 44 version.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a late war wearing Dazzle, because Yorktown and Hornet were both gone by then. But you get the bright idea. I said, oh, everyone when they first came out, everyone did Hornet, with the Doolittle Raiders with the
Right.
B-25s, and then Yorktown came out, and everyone did her in the config, her midway configuration.
Right.
And I thought, I want to do Enterprise like 44. And then I started looking at the amount of work that went into doing Enterprise in a 44 configuration, and the box just got put on the shelf. Oh,
Jason, the Hornet version of their kit, I believe, yes, it does come with the B-25s. I know they sell the B-25s separately, but I'm almost certain they're included in the kit.
Yeah, Mike says the 44 Enterprise is a huge change from 42, which is why I didn't do the project. I got the base kit and then decided against it.
All right. Well, up next, we've got James Brown. This is his A10. He did not specify which kit or anything like that, but he was most interested in the fact that this is his first attempt at weathering. So he probably going to end up being hooked to weathering and keep on. I'm terrible at weathering right now. So regardless of, I mean, this looks great to me, James, but regardless of what you think it looks like, I promise you this is better than what I can do. And the fact that this is your first attempt, this looks great. Tim says this is a monogram kit.
Oh,
all right.
That's retro.
Done the inside.
Such a great airplane. I love the A-10.
Oh yeah. My when I was a kid, the church we attended, the pastor there, he was a former A-10 pilot. So every Sunday we got to hear A-10 stories. Which, you know, at the time, I mean, it was neat, but at the time, I was a kid. I didn't care. If I could go back and hear those stories now, I would appreciate them a lot more, I'm sure.
Well, there's still a lot of A-10 drivers around. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sure he's still around too, but that was a lifetime ago and hundreds of miles away. So
reach out, see if we can get him on the show. Talk about
right.
A-10.
Yeah, I remember I don't remember what it was, but I remember he always had a couple of model kits of A-10s in his office. Could have cared less back then when I was a kid, but
right.
All right, next up we've got a picture of Michael's F5. And this is didn't get any information from him on these and just one picture, so we'll take a look at this. And I don't ever mind you guys just sending one picture, rather have one than nothing, but the more information and the more pictures you provide us, the more we are able to talk about your models. So just keep that in mind for future submissions. We will show what you send us, and if you send us too much, we'll combine them, and we don't gotta fit everybody in. But
so this is done up as an aggressor. These guys usually operate out of Nellis, and they do dissimilar air combat training for F-16 and F-15 pilots, because the aircraft, the theory behind dissimilar training is that if you're dogfighting an F-16 or dogfighting an F-15, because you fly those airplanes, you know what they're capable of doing. So they use aircraft that are not in the current, frontline inventory to provide dissimilar training, because the F5 is much more maneuverable and nimble than the F-15 or the F-16. So they learn to adapt to tactics or to the envelope of an aircraft that is dissimilar to their comfort zone.
I see.
So and the Navy did the same thing at the Top Gun school when they migrated F-14s to F-14s. They started using A4s for the exact same reason. They're lighter, they're quicker, they're a little more nimble. And they learn how to do dissimilar air combat training.
All right. Well,
that's why they got the red star on the.
I see. Okay.
And Russian colors.
Nice. Well, this is a great model. He's got one more model that he sent us, and this one is his Ohio Air National Guard F-16. There's the only view of that we've got tonight, but we'll check this out.
89082 would be C model, block 30, F-16.
And that is why we keep you around, Jeff.
For this and other useless information, stay tuned.
Hey, that's not useless information on this show, buddy. That's
I'm not an F-16 expert, but based on the serial number, I think it's a block 30.
It's one of those things. None of us are experts on everything, but every once in a while something pops up that is in your wheelhouse, and you're like, "Hey, I know that." Oh man, well this looks good. I like his bases, how he does that. Very, very cool stuff. So thank you for sending those. I'm going to try to speed up just a little bit because I just realized that we got a lot to go, and we already been in here an hour. Having a good time though. So let's see what Michael's got for us. This is a Revell F101, the B model, the Voodoo. And let's see. Oh yeah, Revell, and he has built it with the Carcal models decals.
I
So there
saw
you
one
go.
of these. Where did I see this one? Oh, probably at the Air Force Museum, most likely.
Yeah.
I never realized how massive this airplane is.
Oh, really?
This is a huge airplane. For a fighter, it's absolutely just a monster of an airplane.
I'm trying to remember if they've got one down at the when we go to Fort Walton Beach every year for vacation,
Mhm.
and the Air Force Armament Museum is down there, and I want to say they might have one of these.
Yeah. This
They got a
airplane
ton of stuff.
is I think it's as big as the F-105.
Really?
And it's bigger. It's bigger than the F4. I mean, it's a big airplane.
Well, I like his color scheme that he's got with this. That green on the tail looks very, very cool against that light gray. Very neat. Oh, Jason says we've got one of these down the road. Really?
Well, looks like you got a road trip
Yeah.
in the making.
Yeah, up by McKay's. That's like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes from the shop. I'll have to go check that out. Well, thank you, Jason. Learn something new every day.
Nice model.
There's one on display in Warner Robins. Okay.
Did he specify what kit that is? Is that the model?
He said it was a Revell kit.
Oh, the Revell kit. Okay.
Yep.
See, now
And
I'm
according to
motivated.
the decals, it's 72 scale.
Now I'm motivated.
There you go. I was waiting for it. You're always motivated by
I'm
something.
always motivated.
All right. Well, good deal. Yeah, there's the.
Oh,
there's
yeah,
the
there
kit
you go.
box art. Very neat. All right.
72nd scale plane in a 48 scale box because it has to be. I mean, it's a big airplane.
All right. Well, we're going to move back to slide 2, what was supposed to be slide 2. And this is Stuart Malone. This is one of your buddies, isn't it, Jeff?
Yes, sir. He's my my partner in crime for the for IPMS and AMPS Nationals.
Okay.
Every year we get an Airbnb and
Okay.
invite all our friends to come and crash with us. So
All right. Well, last month he sent one of these, didn't he? So this must be the 72 scale version he's talking about that he did last month.
Yep. And this is a
the
Rodin
wing
kit. Yeah, this
nut. Oh, this is the Rodin kit.
yeah, he had so much fun building the 32nd scale.
That's right. Last month that was his wing nut kit last month, right?
He is a 72nd scale guy by trade.
Okay.
And I really, kind of pressed him and pressured him. It was pure peer pressure for him to build 32nd scale, because I told him once he started building a wing nut wings kit, he'd leave 72nd and go to 32nd. But he went, I guess I didn't convince him, because he went.
There you go. And Stuart, if you're in here, and you are, because there you are, I gotta apologize. The pictures you sent me, they were kind of small, so when I stretched them to fit, they got a little blurry like this. I'm not really sure what happened, but so forgive me for that.
He still uses a flip phone to take
Oh,
pictures.
well,
I'm busting his chops.
still worked out fine.
He's going to give me grief.
This is neat. I love these old colors, the purple that they use, and I know a lot of people have asked us to do World War I colors, and that is on the list to do later. But I'm kind of excited to get to that point, because some of these colors, these old things used, are just, you'd never use this kind of stuff today, but for a model kit, that's great.
We had this conversation a few episodes ago, and all of the color research for World War I aircraft colors has been done.
Oh, yeah. It's a matter of getting to it.
Well, it's been done by Stuart Malone.
Oh, well, there you go. Well,
he's my
here's the
guy for World War I.
Here's the work right here. I think we got a couple other guys that were pitching in some other help too. I think Ron sent us some stuff. I don't know. Once we get to that point, we'll be talking about it, I'm sure. But this looks great. Jeff, you're talking about getting motivated. I think I want to build a purple plane.
Okay, like an air racer or
no, like this. This is cool. The purple
D1?
camouflage. I mean, that is purple.
Well, they call it mauve, but
yes, but
it's purple.
It's purple, just like the color next to it is green. Now, which specific shade of green and purple, you can tell me later, but this is neat. I might like to do one of these sometime.
Well, we can probably get you set up with a 32nd scale wingnut kits.
I said sometime. Like Mauve and lilac, Stewart
Yep.
says. All right, there you go.
Oh, you know what? You could probably put Mountbatten pink on it, and no one would be the wiser.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, thank you, Stewart, for sending those. Next up, we got Dave Waples. He's got a couple of kits here. So this is an AFB Club kit, and he's actually got two of these in this that you'll see both of them. They look almost identical, but they are slightly different. He said that these submarines were the ones that survived. This one, the guy that commanded it, and I'm not going to even try to say his name, but he survived the attack on Pearl Harbor. But just some interesting history on these two subs. So we'll take a look at what he's built here. Yeah, and I'll say this too about Dave Waples. He runs a ship group. They're based out in Colorado, but they do an online thing. If you are a diehard ship guy and are looking for some other diehard ship guys to go back and forth with and be a part of, shoot me an email. I'll get you in touch with Dave. They got a really nice group of guys out there for their digital club meetings and all that kind of stuff.
I attended one of the online meetings when Dave was talking about building the cradle,
right,
for this exhibit.
Okay. Yeah, they
and I believe that cradle's all scratch built.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know where else you would get it. I haven't seen anything like that commercially available. And then this is the other one. Like I said, very, very similar, but I should have put them up here side by side, but oh, Dave said it was 3D designed and printed.
Yep. Well, that's scratch built in my world.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Very cool. Dave, thank you for sending that. I think he's got some other stuff for us to see. So this is also Dave's. This is a 35th scale kit. This is from a Tallery, the little pig, as they call it. These are some crazy little subjects, you know. I think Tallery did a couple different versions of these little, I mean,
yeah.
Basically, what are they? Like suicide torpedoes or?
No, they would.
I guess I would hope they would jump off, but I mean, they were literally driving the torpedoes, weren't they?
Well, it's a torpedo chassis that was used as propulsion. But if I remember correctly, the forward head was actually detachable. So these guys would ride these things in like horses, and then they would detach the warhead. And then it was on a timer or detonator remote.
Okay, so they could drive out.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Very interesting. Looks like something you would ride at the fair.
Yeah. It's amazing. I've been doing some research on this particular. The Italian Navy was probably the most advanced of the wartime powers when it came to UDT and underwater demolition. I mean, they tore up HMS Queen Elizabeth and HMS Valiant. They had some amazing success with this underwater group of commandos.
Okay.
Using converted torpedoes as their mounts. It's pretty amazing stuff when you think about it.
Okay. Well, Dave's done a great job capturing it in 1/35th scale for sure.
Yeah.
Moving along, he has done a 72 scale Edward F6F. And let's see what he says about this. Painted with Mr. Hobby paints, lacquers, and weathered with oils, and Bases by Bill for his base.
Yeah, our good friends over at Bases by Bill.
There you go.
Bill and Weston.
Your neck of the woods, right?
Yep. Bill, Weston, and Christian.
Okay.
They're members of our local club, doing some
Nice.
great stuff.
Well, Dave says he received best USN aircraft subject, and he says he was shocked because there was a lot of really good stuff in the show. Yeah, that's the thing. You never know. Do your best work, take it to the show and see what happens, because you never know. I mean, every show is going to be a little bit different. It's always up to the judges, and us judges, we are human. So do your best work and take it and be proud of it, and regardless of the results. And every once in a while, you might walk out of there like Dave did this time.
I like the fact that he took what amounts to a boring paint scheme. I mean, when the Navy went to the overall dark sea blue,
right?
The aircraft kind of lost their character, because they became very monotone. But he really did a nice job of taking a very boring paint scheme and bringing life to it. Multi-dimensional.
And all that panel work, it's just really, really nice. Very cool.
And Bases by Bill, their carrier decks, for anyone who's interested, their carrier decks actually utilize our color callouts. So if you go to Bases by Bill and you order their carrier decks, they will tell you what carrier had what color deck stain and what color the lines were, and for specific years and things of that nature. So their carrier decks and are spectacular. They do some really, really nice work.
Well, speaking of really nice work, this is really good, David. And who'd have known you could do things besides ships? This is fantastic. Oh, of course, it's still naval related.
Yeah. Well.
I'm just picking with you, David. I have learned modelers are modelers, and if it is interesting to us, we will build it, even if it is outside of what most people know us to be fans of.
Yep.
All right, so next up, we've got slide 3 here, and this is going to be Ron's collection. He's got a D3, and let's see, Edward, 48 scale from Edward, Alclad, and there we go. All right. And what did he say? 48 scale? Yeah, 48 scale.
Yep.
So this is cool.
And before anybody asks, yes, the tires were that color. They were
really.
They were natural rubber. They were not vulcanized rubber.
Huh. Very interesting.
Yep.
Well, it makes for an interesting model for sure, because that's not what you would expect. Yeah, this is good. Ron says the tires could have been pink, tan, or gray.
But not Mountbatten pink.
Oh, man, and he's done a good job on that prop there. It's always impressive to me anytime somebody can make plastic look like wood. Plastic or resin or whatever it is.
Yep.
Oh, that's all we've got of that one. All right, we'll move it on to his next one. Still staying with Ron. This is from Horizon.
Wally Schirra.
Got Mercury Atlas, 72 scale. Alclad testers. Yeah, we don't get much space stuff in here. Yeah, I was setting these images up, and I realized that things like this that are very tall, it's hard to show here. So I just decided to put a couple of them side by side, and then he sent us that close up too. So
back in the old days when I was running the Air Museum for the state of New Jersey, I had the opportunity to meet Wally Schirra.
Really?
Yeah, super nice guy. Yep, super nice guy. He was
Huh.
inducted into our Aviation Hall of Fame. He's from New Jersey, which is where the museum obviously was.
Okay.
And he was inducted into the Aviation Hall of Fame of New Jersey. And yeah, just super nice guy. Him and Buzz Aldrin, Wally Schirra, Rusty Schweikert were all from New Jersey. Had the opportunity to meet all of them.
All right. Well, Ron, this looks good. We'll move on to your next one here, which is an F-84. Done a lot of work on this 48 scale. Added cockpit stuff, wires, cutting edge decals. Used Tester's metallizer. So let's take a look at this. This color scheme's got a lot going on, and I like it. You know, the overall metal finish, but you've got the red, the white, and then the you just got, what is that, olive, some sort of olive or tan?
Olive, A&A olive drab.
Yeah.
Yep. It's amazing because it's a 50s era jet, but you can still see a lot of the crossover from World War II. You know, the zinc chromate and the interior green and the olive drab.
Right.
Those are all wartime colors that continue to be used right up into the 50s. It's got the radios and gyros and everything wired up in the back.
Right. But like I have said a lot tonight, it just makes for an interesting model.
So the wires, he says, are from when he worked on the Hubble Space Telescope. So that's kind of cool. It's a neat aircraft. It's one that really, you know, it's kind of transitional because the F-86 kind of stole the thunder, you know, especially with Korea starting, and this was, you know, it was a transitional aircraft from the P-80.
That's a cool view of it right there.
Yep.
All right. Well, Ron, thank you for sending in all those.
That was two different aircraft. One was a Thunderbirds and one was a... Yeah, that's a Thunderbirds aircraft. Look at that.
All right. Well, Ron, if I missed some description on what you sent in, I apologize. Looks like... All right. Well... That one looks good too. Well, I was sitting there looking, I was like, wow, the other side looks totally different, but that's not the other side. That's another plane.
It would have been really cool to see the Thunderbirds flying these aircraft. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when they were flying F-4 Phantoms before they went to the F-16s, but that would have been really cool to see that.
Same kit and finishes used. Okay. All right. Well, good deal, buddy. Well, thank you for those. We're going to move on to Bruce. He's got a 35th scale Ming kit, a Panther A. And he says that it was not an easy project. And yeah, that's par for the course for a lot of tank kits these days. The tracks can really take a long time. But it looks like you've done a fantastic job, especially with your photography there. I like how some of you guys are doing
I was
that.
just about to say there's no way this is a model.
Well,
I think he did this to us a few episodes back.
Oh yeah. He likes doing this, but we got some white background pictures too. So there's the proof. It's a model. But no, that's very, very neat.
That
very
is cool. I like your Photoshop work. That's pretty amazing stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, this is a nice kit. It might have been a pain for you to get it done, but I think the end result is well worth it. Very nice.
And he got it right. Ah.
What's that?
The inside road wheels on the Panther
Uh-huh.
had a steel edge on them.
Okay.
So the outside road wheels were rubber, and then the inside road wheels had a rubber insert, but the sides of the road wheels that came in contact with the guide teeth were steel, and he got it
Okay.
right.
And that's
Yay.
why they're not painted like the rest of it.
Give that guy a cookie.
Cool.
Well done.
Oh, yeah. Nice work in photography, David says. That's what I was talking about. It just, the pictures keep getting better and better. So,
You think we're rubbing off on them, or are they rubbing off on us?
maybe, hey, that's how it's like it is at model shows. We all rub off on everybody. Everybody picks up tricks along the way.
I'm motivated.
Well, this is neat. Well, I appreciate you sending this in. Very, very nice. We're going to move on to, I think Rob Weilacher is next with his Zukaku. And this is the only image we've got of it. So we'll look at this for a minute. But Rob, going back to what we were talking about earlier, all of us ship guys moving up to bigger scales. Rob's rocking the 700 scale stuff. That's his thing, and he does a fantastic job at it for sure.
I wish I could just see that stuff.
I can see it just fine. Look at that. It looks great.
Well, yeah, from here, but we joke about it. But I mean, if I don't have my optivisor, I can't even build 350th.
I hear you. Well, Rob, thank you for sending this. I look forward to seeing some more little ships from you. Oh, before I go, I just noticed he built that from the Shokaku kit.
Yep.
So, very cool. Yeah, Dave says Rob's part of his club. And you can be part of the club too, because Dave lives right down the road from us. Doesn't matter where you're at. So, again, if you want to be...
Wait,
if you're get hooked up with Dave
lives in Colorado.
Dave lives in Colorado. Rob lives in Atlanta.
Oh.
That's why I said their club is international. Heck, they got David Angelo from Loose Cannon, and I'm pretty sure he lives over in the Philippines now.
No.
So it doesn't matter where you live. Now they have a dedicated group that's in Colorado, and they all meet together, but then they broadcast the meeting on Zoom or something. But if you guys want to get hooked up with David, give me an email. I'll get you in touch with him. All right, next up we've got Sonny, and he has built 24 scale master box pinup set. They do this in 35th and 24, but he's done it in 24. They do all sorts of this kind of stuff. And, talking about going back to the cars and the non-military things, of course, he's built this car up as a military type of thing. Mm-hmm. But there's his full, what he's done with it. I don't know whose car kit that is, but it goes right along with what you were talking about earlier, all the non-military stuff and how you can use those for pretty much anything, even a bunch of pinup girls on a wood stump. This is neat. I want to know, Sonny, if you're in the chat, and I think it is real, but your backdrop there, is that a real backdrop that's on there, or is that just part of the image? I think you can kind of tell. It looks like it's a printed, backdrop. The back there with the Uncle Sam on it. I think it's like a real.
Yeah, it's nose art, various nose art.
Well, I know, but I mean, is it physical? Is it actually back there? And I think it is.
I don't know.
Yeah, looks cool. All right. Well, thank you for sending that, Sonny. I appreciate it. Looks great. And next up, we've got David Sanchez, and he's rocking the Squadron hat there in his picture. It looks like the hat you're wearing, Jeff.
Dad hat.
All right. So this is the Tamiya. It's their Panzer IV, the J model. And he has included an Alpine Miniatures figure for it. So let's check out what he has done. Very good stuff. And he sent us a lot of pictures of this, which is welcome. But we've combined a few of them so we can take a look at everything he's got going on. It's very cool. I love you talking about people doing things better than I can. I love it every time I see figures done up with all the camo patterns like that. It's just when you consider how small that guy is in 35th scale and all that, it's just that's a lot of little stroke marks, you know.
Yeah. Dot camouflage is very difficult to pull off and have it be believable.
Right. But he's done a good job here with this. Going back to what we always say, you can't go wrong with a Tamiya kit.
Oh.
Couple more looks at this. Yeah, he's got that camo pattern on all his figures. That's cool.
You got the jazz in the background, and I'm just over here kind of.
Well, you know how I am on show and tell nights. Got to have something going on in the background because sometimes I just forget to talk because I'm amazed at what I'm looking at.
Yeah,
you know?
we get that awkward silence.
Yeah, but when the jazz is going, it's not too awkward. Glenn says, Tamiya makes great kits for sure. And in this particular case, David did a great job painting it. So thank you for sending that in, David. Looks very nice. We're going to move on to slide number 4. First up in this slide is Derek and his 72 scale BF 109. Let's see. That's cool how he's holding it there so we can get an idea of scale of how small this thing is. A 72 scale aircraft is like 700 scale ships. It's just tiny, and when you do this kind of work to them here, it's just you can't believe how small that is. You know.
Yep.
Very nice. I love the color scheme on these things.
RLM 79 over RLM 65.
And in a minute here, his photography changes. You'll see what I'm talking about. And well, you know what? When I put these shows together, I'm like usually last minute and I'm throwing them in there and I don't really get a chance to look. So like a minute ago, I didn't realize that was 2 planes that Ron sent us. So that may be the case here, but in just a second, it's a totally different color scheme or totally different camera settings. We'll find out in a moment. This looks cool. This is good. Yeah, so here we go. So is this different plane or same plane?
Same airplane.
Okay, different.
Yep.
Different color settings.
Just different lighting. Yep.
All right, so Mr. Paint Expert.
Mm-hmm.
I know if you see it in person, it's totally different, but just from the computer, and all of our monitors look different, I understand that. Which one is more accurate if you were looking at it in person?
That one right there, the darker one.
Okay. Yeah.
The darker one.
Oh, the darker one. Okay.
Yep.
I got you.
Yep.
Well, either way, all the pictures look good. The model looks great. Got one last look at it here.
I started out in 72nd scale.
Where are you now? 16 scale?
Yeah, pretty much. 32nd scale aircraft, 16th scale armor, 200 scale ships, and then everything else is, you know, I do build some of the normal scale stuff because I have to, but
yeah, I hear you.
My own private collection stash is pretty much 32nd, 16th, and 200 scale.
I hear you.
Unless it's not available in one of those scales, and then I have to.
Yeah, then you got to get it how you get it. Well, we're going, Jeff, we're going to try to pick the speed up just a little bit. We're at an hour and a half. I want to try to wrap this up in 2 hours, and I only say that because we're about halfway through here.
All right.
But I also say that because if I don't, we'll go for the next hour about who you're about to brag about. And I'm going to let you take the lead on this one.
Oh, beans. Okay, so the in the chat, the Rohala is my good friend Merrick Rogel. For those of you who attended the IPMS National Convention in Madison last year, he was the registrar and the man behind the scenes who made it all happen. And Beans is his daughter Irene, and she has taken a shining to all of the old Weirdos kits, and she goes like gangbusters. She is one of the few people that Scale Colors still sponsors and provides paint to, and she is pretty much in contention for best junior everywhere she goes, including the IPMS National Convention. So she's and her nickname is Beans. So we have this discussion amongst us old guys about how kids are not involved in the hobby anymore, or how difficult it is to get kids involved in the hobby, and she is the exception to the rule. I'm waiting for her to make that jump into, historical figure painting or something along those lines, because in a very, very short period of time, she's developed into a tremendous modeling talent.
Wow. Well, this is neat. The Weirdos kits, I can't say that I see many of them built. I see them from time to time, and usually they're relatively simple kits, and usually when I see them, they're thrown together and, maybe not even painted, which is not a problem. Do what works for you, do what you enjoy. But this in particular is just, I don't know if I've ever seen the Weirdos kits done to this level of detail. Yep. I mean, this is great.
Yep. And obviously, they are in my local club. They live about 40 minutes away from me here in Wisconsin. And if you happen to notice the rivalry here, McBash is from Wisconsin, and I believe the player that's getting brutalized is a Minnesota player. So okay. She's carrying that rivalry, I think. But what's really cool is that she uses Scale Colors on this stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, and I can't help but notice the other thing that's in here that may or may not be something that'll be available soon. See the little leaves and the little grass, and might have some what's that little flower down there in the corner? Yep. You guys might be seeing something along those lines soon. All right, next up, she's got the Woody and the Surf Ari. Is that?
Yep.
Is that how we're saying that? Okay. Another one of those old Weirdos kits.
Another one of the Weirdos. She absolutely loves the Weirdos kits, and I think the logic behind it is that she can basically do anything that she wants to it.
Yep, that's true. It's you can't argue about accuracy when the subject matter is fictional.
Yep.
So, very cool. And how old did you say she is?
I think she's about 14, 15.
Okay. Very, very cool.
14. She's 14.
She says, I have no, Jason asked, wonder how she did the flocking. She says, I don't know how I did the flocking. I don't know what that is.
The grass.
Yeah, Beans, he is talking about the grass on the bottom. It looks very neat how you did the grass on the field. All right, well, cool. And I think she got one more for us to look at. This is Daddy.
Tons of putty, gallons of sweat, blood, and tears, along with the secretive swearing, and Daddy finally popped out of his grave. That's funny.
Nice. Well, this is yet again one of those old Weirdos kits.
Yeah.
Very cool stuff.
You will see her at Nationals. She will be, so you will probably see a lot of these models at Nationals if you're going to Virginia.
Very cool.
She'll be there probably signing autographs after this is done.
There you go. Yeah, go check out I guess you'll be in the junior category.
Yep.
That'll be interesting to see. Well, very cool, Beans. Thank you for showing us these.
Cool beans.
Yeah. And, you know, I guess we'll say like father, like daughter this time. And up next, we've got Merrick's builds. So this is his Seahawk 72 scale. Oh, look at me. I can't spell. Hobby toss. But actually, I bet it was his fault because I copied and pasted that. Usually when you guys email me something, I copy and paste. So
we'll blame it on him. It's easy.
There you go. Well, let's check this out.
Merrick loves to do, dare I say, esoteric subjects.
Okay.
It's not very often you see him do anything considered mainstream, like an F-16 or, you know, a MiG or anything like that. He loves doing these esoteric, unique subjects, and he does a great job.
Well, in that case, then you never know what we're going to see with him.
No, that much I can promise. He and I have been friends for going on 20 years now. Okay. Yep.
And he does boats too. So this is an ICM kit, an oldie but a goodie. ICM, believe it or not, does a few ship models. A couple of surface ships, a couple of submarines. Very neat stuff. So let's check out what he's done here.
I got the jazz going. I'm sorry, man.
Oh, man. That's fine. That's what I turn it on for.
Everybody's going to think I was drinking or something because I'm over here doing the Stevie Wonder, you know, getting into the music.
Well, this is cool. This looks very nice. Yeah, and even though that's 144 scale, you know, that's not a I guess for ship models, I almost want to call that a submarine scale. I mean, there have been a couple of surface ships. You know, Revell's got the Fletcher and a couple, you know, Flower class or whatever. But there's several 144 scale submarines from Trumpeter and Revell and like this ICM.
Yep, and they do. Revell also does a bunch of the Type 7s,
right,
in 144 scale as well. Yeah.
All right, last one from Merrick is a 72 scale Academy kit of a Hawker Tempest. This looks nice. Yeah, I love the yellow on the...
Yeah, all the years I've known him, I don't know that I've ever seen this model.
Well, he was trying to surprise you.
Well, he did. It's one of my favorite aircraft. I've always loved the look of the Tempest and the Typhoon. Yeah. Just such menacing looking airplanes.
Right.
And then 420 millimeter cannon in the wings. Talk about ruining your day.
Or ending it.
Yeah.
Bottom side of that. All right. Well, Merrick, thank you for sending those. They look very, very nice.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing what you and Beans have for us next month. All right, so this is Mark, and he has done this out of a Tamiya kit, an M3 Stuart, a few Tamiya figures, he says, and just good old scratch build, styrofoam base, plaster structures, homemade stuff, very, very neat. He says he's got to give credit to Mr. Octopus. Not familiar with who that is, but he has obviously been a big help to Mark. So let's check out what Mark's done here.
And good old Southern Tennessee dirt.
Hey, I know what that looks like. There you go. It's always neat to see. It's like, okay, this is what it looks like, but then you zoom out and you're like, oh, wow, looks totally different sometimes. Did he say 35th scale? Okay. They did that recently in 48 scale, and it's been very, very popular. Tamiya, that is.
They do the M5 or the M8?
Honestly, I don't know. I just remember it's a Stewart. I forget which one it is. There's so many Stewarts coming out right now Mini Art's coming out with a different Stewart every month, it seems. And so I just forget who's doing which version. I just know there's Stewarts like going out in and out the door every day.
Well, they had one for sale, and I asked you to buy it for me, but I mean, it was only $180,000.
One day. We got to sell a few more bottles of paint first.
A lot more paint before you and I are tooling around in a Stewart tank.
All right. Thank you for sending those. Next up, we've got Mark, and this is his Panzer III from, again, Tamiya. And this is interesting, Jeff. I thought you'd like this. He used your tracks that will very soon be on the Squadron website as Squadron tracks. Let's see how he did this.
Yeah, I had a conversation with him at the last club meeting, and this was the older Tamiya kit.
Okay.
The one that they did in the 70s. I think the tooling is from the 70s. And he had to do some work to the drive sprocket.
Really?
To get the tracks to actually fit the drive sprocket.
I see.
We have to remember that when Tamiya released most of these kits in the 70s, they were initially motorized.
Right.
And in some of these old kits, if you open them up, you can still see the cutouts on the inside of the hull where the batteries would go, the D cell or C cell batteries. So they tooled a lot of that out as they repopped the kits. But
well, regardless of how old this kit is, it looks fantastic.
Yeah. As a result, the drivetrain is a little meatier and a little heftier to be able to handle it being connected to a gearbox and motorized. So he had to work the drive sprocket a little bit to get everything to fit.
Well, it worked out really nice. So
it did.
Well, thank you for sending that in. And we'll move on to the next slide. We got 2 slides left, guys, and then we'll get out of here. I appreciate y'all hanging with us. This next one, I always like all of them, but you always talk about getting inspired. This one, when I pulled these up, I was just like, wow. This is Richard Zimmerman. This is his P40E, the Edward kit, which has been a very, very popular kit lately, but he kind of knocked this one out of the park for me. This really has me thinking I need one of those kits like yesterday.
So now you're motivated.
Yeah, pretty much. You were talking about being motivated by whichever kit it was earlier in the show, and I knew my time was coming tonight. I was just waiting. I forgot which slide this was in.
Well, I'm hoping that after Nationals, we'll actually have some time to build some stuff.
Probably not.
Probably not.
But maybe.
Jason wants to know if we buy a 1-to-1 scale Stewart, if we're going to be painting it with Squadron colors. Absolutely.
Well, what else would you paint it with?
I mean, we mix it up a gallon at a time, so we can do that.
I might have to move to 5-gallon buckets.
Yeah.
Or 55-gallon drums.
Now,
this is cool how he's got this opened up and everything.
Does the Edward kit have all of that stuff opened up, or?
I have not. I hadn't built one, so I don't want to speak. But it's got they got the Royal class. They got all that, the extras that you can buy. Yeah, he's in here.
So tell us, what did you add to this to take all of the cowl panelings off? Because that's spectacular.
I know Edward sells all this stuff. I know a lot of it came in the Royal class kit. I know a lot of it is aftermarket. I mean, Edward's an aftermarket company. So when they produce a kit, they make everything you can possibly imagine for it. So yeah, let us know in the chat, what did you add to it that was not included in the box?
Wow. It's so cool seeing, you know, when you obviously when you see it with all of the cowlings and whatnot on it,
Right.
you know, it defines the shape of the airplane. But when you take the cowling off, you know, people don't understand how much is going on,
Right.
you know, underneath the sheet metal.
Well, he said most of the stuff is not included. He used all available aftermarket items from Edward. So yeah, if you bought everything from Edward that they make for, I mean, they make one kit and they probably have a dozen, if not more, accessories for it. 3D printed stuff, photo etch stuff, stencils, decals. I mean, everything. So that's very, very neat. You did a great job on that.
Fantastic work.
All right. Well, this is the last look at this one. So scroll through them one more time. I just really like it. So appreciate that. Everybody check out Green Creations Scale Modeling. Next up, we got Scott. This is a 48 scale kit from ICM. This is a JU88 with a very cool paint scheme.
Russian front or Balkans, Greece, KG-54. Yeah, probably the Balkans.
Huh.
So a 70-71 base scheme with waves of RLM 79, or
Okay.
it could, if it was earlier than 43, it could probably be Italian. Giallo Mimetico, which
Okay.
is a color we actually have.
Now he's got a second color in that camo scheme too. If you look close, he's got a darker wave line. Look on the wing right there. So he's got the base coat, and then he's got a dark camo waves or lines, whatever we're calling that.
Yeah.
So it's very neat, very cool pattern.
They did a lot of crazy stuff like that. Individual aircraft camouflage was left up to the unit commanders, and it was based entirely upon where they were operating at the time. So you'll see wave patterns, dot patterns, splinter patterns, and it all depended upon, you know, the squadron commander or the group commander.
Okay. Well, very cool. We got this last look at here, and then we'll move on and see who else we've got.
I'd like to know if he masked that or if he freehanded that.
If you're in the chat, let us know. Was that a freehand paint job, or did you have some sort of masking that you used? That is a good question.
Because either way, if it's masking, that's some intense masking. If it's freehand, that is amazing control of the airbrush.
Yeah, you only had one shot. Oh, man. All right, well, next up, this one is, we haven't had anything like this in here before, and if you're a fan of horror movies, you're in for a treat. And if you're not, then you're still in for a treat, because regardless of the subject matter, the work is pretty fantastic. So this is from Neil, and he says this is from a 1/4 scale, 1/4. So massive. I mean, how tall is that in 1/4 scale, Jeff? 15 or 20 inches?
If you're, you know, let's see, quarter scale.
That's just big.
Yeah.
He says this is from the Evil Dead 2 movie. It's a 3D print from Wicked.
Now I got to do the math. You got me thinking.
It's a 3D print assembled and painted. He did a lot of scratch building stuff. He said it's signed by Greg Nicotero, who is actually the guy who worked on the costume and puppeteered the Pee-wee head, which you'll see in the next photo. So Neil's very proud of this. It was at Wonderfest, and he says he received a Squadron pin. I am assuming that was given to him by my brother Jared, because he is between the two of us, he is the horror fan.
Okay, so quarter scale, tall figure in quarter scale would be 18 inches tall.
18 inches, and then this crazy head snake thingy, whatever that is going to make it about 20 inches tall.
At least, yeah.
So
That's stuff of nightmares right there.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
the fact that it was signed. That's just so cool.
Oh yeah. I mean, if this is what you're into, and you meet the guy that was responsible for this costume in the movie, and he signed your model. I mean, that would be like us building a B-17 and having Lucky Luckadoo sign it.
Right.
Neil loves this. He's proud of it. This is great. I mean, and this is what I was talking about too, Jeff, at Wonderfest. Regardless of what your favorite type of model is, whether it's aircraft or whatever,
Right.
I mean, just look at the detail that's in this. I mean, you can learn so much at Wonderfest. There's a lot of this kind of stuff. I don't know. It's very, very good work, Neil. So thank you for sending this. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing what else you've got for us in the future.
It's one of the things that I loved about Wonderfest, and of course, as I said, it was my first one there, and you'd be sitting talking to people, and somebody would say, "You see that guy over there? He did all of the work on Night of the Living Dead, and this guy over there, he's the director for Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, and that guy worked on the Halloween movies, and that guy worked on Nightmare on Elm Street." And you're looking at these guys, and you're thinking, I've seen these movies, I've heard about these movies, they're part of our culture, but these are the guys that actually like made the costumes and made the models, and you're thinking, I'm not worthy, but you don't want to fanboy too bad, So.
Oh yeah. Well, next up, we've got Mac Hodges, which is very cool because Mac Hodges is actually a guy that is from the town we were from, Americus, down in South Georgia.
Yep.
And this is actually, I don't think it's Mac Hodges Jr., but his uncle was actually Mac Hodges, the Mac that we knew. And he ran Hodges Hobbies in Americus, and he was 100% remote control. He lived on an airstrip. They did remote control planes, and he is directly responsible for why Free Time Hobbies did not sell remote control, because in Americus there was no need in competing against Hodges Hobbies. But anyway, Mac, young Mac, there he is. He's in the chat with us. Mac is his great uncle. So Mac he's a local. He's been to the shop a few times now, and glad to see you here, a part of the show, Mac. And this is his Warhammer 40K Death Corps of Krieg Army. Lots of different armies in Warhammer 40K from what I understand. So let's check this out. Very neat. We're talking about earlier tonight, talking about how Gundam stuff is a big part of the IPMS crowd. We see some of this sometimes at the IPMS, but this is another segment of model building that is ginormous, possibly bigger than Gundam and military kits combined. And, primarily this is a war game. These are actual model kits, plastic sprues and everything. You build them, you paint them, and the idea is that you play this game with them. But a lot of people just build the models because they're neat and they're fun to build. But Mac's done a great job with this for sure.
I've only done one of these kits. I did a Warhammer 40K dropship.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. It actually looks like maybe like one of the dropships from the Alien movies. It's got the reverse inverted wing and whatnot. And I wasn't sure what I was getting into, but they are really, really well engineered.
Oh yeah,
they go together. And because they're designed for wargaming, the parts are kind of heavy, and they're over engineered, so the model is really robust because it's supposed to be handled, and used in the game. I mean,
wow. Okay,
these are great kits.
Oh, yeah. Well, you did a great job with that, Mac. I look forward to seeing more from you. Next up, we've got Dale, and this is his Jeep, North Africa Jeep.
SAS.
Check this out. Going back to Neil's horror kit a minute ago, I meant to mention this. He says it's 22 inches tall with the long neck.
Well, we got the numbers just about. My magic marker math was right.
Well, speaking of math and sizes, he did not say what scale this Jeep is. And with those zoomed in photos, I don't know. What's your guess, Jeff?
Probably 35th.
You think 35th?
Yeah. I mean, it's an SAS Jeep, so it could very well be the old Tamiya kit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Look at that. I like how he's got the front grill all busted out.
well, they did that on purpose because
Oh,
of
they
the
did? All right.
Well,
Take me
he
to class. Tell us
well,
what
I
is
mean,
it?
when you're operating an air-cooled vehicle in North Africa, which is where the SAS was,
That's a good point.
you want as little restriction going to the radiator as possible.
Okay.
So yeah, so you cut out anything that would block airflow to the radiator.
All right. Well, here's a fun question. So 4011 says that is the Tamiya kit. Does the Tamiya kit come that way, or did he have the knowledge enough to know that he needs to cut that out?
I don't know if the SAS release of the Jeep actually had that cut out or not, or if he did it. Probably working off a historical photo.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff going on here for sure. So,
well, if
very cool.
If anyone is interested, I mean, the SAS, the British long range forces that were used in North Africa, they absolutely customized. I guess customized probably not the proper word, but I mean anything that they needed to carry, because these guys would go out into the desert for weeks at a time. So yeah, I mean,
Frank and 401 both said they had to cut them out of the kit. So
yeah, but if you
makes
do
sense.
a Google search for SAS Jeeps, I mean, you will see just all kinds of stuff hanging off them.
Okay. Well, very cool. We did a great job on that. I appreciate you sending that in. We've got his Tiger tank. And he mentioned in his email that both of these he pulled out of a diorama. So I think they used to be part of the same diorama, and he pulled them out, and they're separate models now. So this is neat.
Rat Patrol. Yep. Well, that's great television show from the 50s and 60s.
That's one of Dad's shows he's always talking about. And if we were ever going to license something, he mentions it all the time. He says, we need to license a Rat Patrol kit.
We can make that happen.
It'd be neat. Well, this looks good. I like how he's got the flag draped on the back.
Aerial recognition. You know, what's wild is the only running Tiger One left in the world, genuine, real one, is the one at Bovington in the UK, and it was a Tiger One that was actually captured in North Africa.
Okay. Huh. I didn't know that. Well, this is that wraps us up for the show and tell tonight, Jeff. Had a lot of stuff, a lot of really good stuff. Like I said, pictures just keep getting better and better. So I really enjoy this, guys. I hope that you do too, and we'll keep it going. I have no idea, what day we will do it next month, because as you can tell, we have somehow or another gone from the first Wednesday of the month to the second Wednesday of the month the last 2 or 3 weeks. The first Wednesday of the month in August, we will be broadcasting from Nationals.
Correct.
So that will definitely not be the show and tell. The second Wednesday of the month, we will have just got back from Nationals. I will not have time to put the show together. So I am going to tentatively say that August 20th, the third Wednesday of the month, will be our next show and tell. So that'll give us a little extra time to finish some kits. So just know that. And I'll send an email about it a week or so before. But that's going to wrap us up for tonight. Jeff, I guess you're going to get back to what you're doing, and I got some stuff over here I've been working on, some of those secret projects. What about the project I told you about right before the show started, and I kind of caught you off guard?
I don't even remember what we talked about 10 minutes ago.
Well, it was this color.
That
That thing.
thing?
Yeah, you think anybody's going to be excited that thing and all of the things related to it are finally coming back?
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
think
I
so?
think so.
Okay.
I think
It's
so.
been a long time coming, and uh, it's finally going to happen. So
Well, and I think without taking up too much time, we look at these projects and we have lots of little bits and pieces of many of these projects laying around, and we're trying to put them back together. And then as we put them back together, we look at things that need to be either retooled because we no longer have those parts, or they have to be improved upon. And then what's supposed to be a 1 week project turns into a 1 month project, which turns into
well, and there's projects on top of projects on top of projects. So, but it's all going to be good. I'm excited to show everybody everything. Remember, no show next Wednesday night. We're going to take a week off, and we'll be back at it the following week. And I hope everybody has a great evening, a great week. Build some models, and as always, let me know if you need anything. Email me. Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Y'all take it easy, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for your time, everybody.
We won't see you next week. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks for your time, everyone.
Y'all have a good evening.